Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to do an in-depth review on this Numero Un Mini or number 1 mini bag from Polene. In full transparency, this bag has been gifted to me from the brand. It's been maybe about 8 weeks or so I've spent a lot of time with it, and I know that many of you have been asking for a proper review, so I'm going to go into a lot of detail in this video. Please note that even though this was gifted to me, I am not getting paid. This is not a sponsored video. I get nothing for this. I'm going to do a 100% honest review as I always do. If you guys are regulars here, you know that I don't bother making videos unless I can be 100% honest. So there are no stipulations, no strings attached. I'm not asked to say something. I'm not asked to exclude anything. I am free to say whatever I want. So stay tuned if you want to learn about this bag. I'm going to go into a lot of detail. I will cover close-ups, design details, how it's made, where it's made, color, price. I'm also going to weigh the bag for you because many of you asked me about the weight, whether it was heavy. So I do have my little trusty scale over to the left, which I'll be pulling over soon. I'll also measure with my measuring tape and give you size dimensions, but not only that, I will share side-by-sides of this bag along with other popular designer bags that you might be familiar with or perhaps own, and this way you can see visually how they look side by side and whether this is larger or smaller than the bags that you might have. And then I'm going to talk to you about the chain, and I'm going to actually show you how to adjust the chain because it can be made shorter or longer. So I definitely want to point that out. I will also, of course, show you what fits inside the bag with a variety of different items. And then I'll go into my own pros and cons, and then finally finish out with mod shots that I took while I was on vacation with this bag. So hope you'll enjoy. So let's start with a close-up here. This one is made in full grain calf leather with brushed gold hardware. You can see it's a bit of that matte brushed look. Here's the chain, quite substantial. It looks a bit brassy. Here on the grommets, you see it says Polene on the top and the bottom. And then Polene very discreetly on the front. That is pretty much the only branding that this bag has. Very, very understated. Here's what it looks like on the side. Very artistic, very sculptural, as most of the Polene bags are. And good news, it has 4 feet. Also, it says Polene on each side of each individual foot, I guess. And the stitching is absolutely impeccable. This is all handcrafted, made in Spain. All of the Polene bags are made in Spain. There is a back pocket here, so you can stand up your phone vertically, so it will stick out a bit. Horizontally, at least my phone does not fit. I have a max size phone. And opening works like this. You pull the magnet forward and then the clasp opens. Here, interestingly, there are 2 additional snaps. So it opens the mouth of the bag. And frankly, I think you can just leave it open for easier access versus snapping them back up. On the inside, you have twill cotton lining. Feels very nice and light. It's also a light color, so you can see your items in here fairly easily versus it being a black hole. And on the inside, there is one fairly generous open slit pocket, and I'll show you when I do the what fits inside portion, what I use that for. And this is the chain. It is long enough to put on your shoulder or even wear it crossbody, and it does adjust, so I'll show you that as well in a minute. This is in the chalk color. Many of you have asked me, what is the chalk color? Is it like a beige? Is it a cream? Is it a gray? So I'm going to show you against different colors to give you a sense. And also the price on this bag is actually really amazing. It's $360 retail plus tax. I don't know if the price will go up anytime soon, but even if it does a little bit, I think this is an amazing price for what you're getting. So here is the chalk color right up against a very white piece of paper. This is just the printer paper from my computer here, and you can see here it's not white, right? This color here is definitely not a stark white, which is why they call it chalk. It does have a chalky look. I think it has slightly gray undertones, I would say. It's more muted. And the only other bag that I have that's in the sort of white family, but it's not super white either, is this one here. And this is from Simbono. You guys know I featured this bag a while ago. It's vegan actually, and so it's not real leather, and it's really cute. It kind of reminds me of the Polene Berry bag and also the Bottega Jody. Anyway, this is kind of a creamy color. Obviously the texture is different on the Polene. It's grained here, but you can see side by side the Simbono bag is more of a a cream. It's an ivory cream, and again, the Polene is more of a grayish, chalky color. So hopefully that's helpful. I think it's a beautiful color. I think it's very, very nice neutral. I think it will match with a lot of different clothes, whether it be blacks, navies, pops of color. It's really nice, and it goes well with the subtle brushed hardware. Now let's weigh the bag. I know that this is the portion of the video many of you have been interested in or waiting for. So let's see. This bag is empty at the moment with the chain completely tucked in, and it's showing up as 1 pound, 5.5 ounces. Don't know if you can see that, but it's 1 pound, 5.5 ounces, which is a really great weight. It's not too heavy. Actually, a lot of you had been wondering if it's too heavy for me. You guys know I'm very picky about the weight of my bags. I absolutely hate heavy bags, and I'll never ever keep a bag that's over 2 pounds. So this definitely meets that 2 pound cutoff. Let's do it one more time just to be 100% sure. Put it back on. And again, it says 1 pound, 5.5 ounces. So I think that clears it. The only thing I will mention is that because this is a vertically shaped bag, meaning it's quite tall versus most bags that go horizontally, it might feel heavier on the shoulder because the weight is distributed downward, meaning it gets pulled down. Okay, so if you feel this bag on your shoulder and you go, wait a minute, it doesn't feel like 1.5 or 1 pound, 5.5 ounces as the scale showed, it feels a lot heavier. It could be because of the shape of the bag, something to just keep in mind. Here's my trusty tape measure. I'm going to measure the dimensions of the bag, even though they're listed on the Polene website. I thought it might be helpful. For those of you who watched a recent video where I brought my tape measure to Chanel to measure all the different Deauville totes, you might be laughing because this tape measure has been so helpful to me. Anyway, so here at the very top of the bag, it's showing up at about 6¼ inches, maybe a little bit, yeah, about 6¼ inches at the top. The very bottom base here is about 6½ inches. And then if I do the widest part here, it is about 8¼ inches. And then let's tip it over to the side. So the height of the bag is roughly about 8¼ inches. So it's a taller bag. And then the depth here, I would say, is roughly about 3 inches. Okay, and it's a little tricky to measure because it's not this kind of typical shape. It is very sculptural, as I said, and so it kind of folds here and comes back out, and there's a lot of different little curves. So again, something to keep in mind when you're thinking about the size. It is a really nice size. I will compare it with some other bags now. Here is the Polene No. 1 Mini next to the Hermes Mini Eveline, and I feel like from the front, this bag here is probably the most similar to the Polene bag, but from the side here, you can see that the Mini Eveline is considerably slimmer, and here it is from the back. Actually, don't know if you know, but this is technically the back of the bag, but everyone wears it on the front. But anyway, here you go. And then here it is next to the Chanel mini rectangular flap. Obviously, it's very, very different. If I turn this over in terms of height, it is quite similar. Let me put it side by side like this so you can get a sense. And in terms of the width, the widest part of the Polene bag pretty much matches the width of the mini flap. Then we have it next to the Lady Dior in the small size, and as you can see, the handles are standing up quite tall, so let's just compare from the top of the bag to the top of the Polene bag. The Lady Dior in the small size is a little bit shorter, but fairly similar, I would say. Here they are from the side. Again, fairly similar in terms of depth, and front to back, or maybe I should put this one. There you have it. Now I have it next to my Louis Vuitton Speedy BB size, very, very similar to the Speedy B20. It's about 1 centimeter shorter in length, just for size reference, because I know not many people have this bag. It was seasonal and discontinued, but there you have it side by side. Here it is from a different angle. And let's put the handles down so you can see better. The width, I would say that the width is matching a lot of the bags. Let me put it this way. So there you have it. But as you can see, the Polene bag is definitely taller than most of the bags that I'm showing you. Now this one is going to be a bit of a surprise for my regular viewers because I never unboxed it, but Polene was generous and sent me this Numero Un Nano size, which is basically the sister of the Numero Un Mini. So this is a little bit shorter, and I will absolutely follow up with a side-by-side comparison video, more detailed. If you'd like, let me know in the comments below if you're interested. I can do that in the near future, but for today's purposes, I thought it would be interesting to see this as a size comparison really quickly. So obviously the mini size is going to be considerably taller, except that the nano size here has a top handle. And then let's turn it around this way. This one here has a leather strap versus a chain. So let me show you like this. It looks like just visually the depth or the sides are pretty much the same, and they both have feet. If you can't wait for my in-depth side-by-side review video, I will let you know that this one here is the lilac color if you're interested, and it is going for $320, so $40 less than the mini size. And then on the back, they both have little back pockets. Okay, now let's talk about this chain here. If you guys know me, you know that I don't really gravitate towards bags that have all chains unless there's some interwoven leather like the Chanel Classic flaps. But because this was recommended to me by the contact at Polene, I thought, let me try it. I know it's one of their best sellers. So this is how the chain pulls out, and I'll measure for you the full length of this chain, and then I'm going to show you how to adjust it because I know many of you were concerned about the adjustability. Okay, so as you can see all the way on the right, my tape measure is showing roughly between 20 to 20.5 inches in drop length on this chain when pulled tightly. I think that a 20-inch or 20.5-inch drop length on a long strap like this is pretty universal in size, but good news is that you can also adjust. So because there are 2 more grommets on the inside on each side and this toggle design, you can actually pull it through and loop it around one more time, or you can even make it longer if you wanted to only have it on one grommet. So for example, pull this through. So for example, I just pulled it out of this grommet and only looped it into this one. So obviously this side of the chain is going to run longer, and I can do the same for this. You can also make it shorter by pulling this out. It's actually well designed, well thought out. Okay, so I've pulled it out completely. Actually, that makes it longer, right? So, wow, you have a lot of options to make it longer if you're taller than I am. I'm about 5 feet 6 inches, and the standard way that it came with, the way I showed you originally, that works fine for me, but you can make it also a lot shorter. So, for example, you could do like that, and then loop it this way. So now it's going around like this, right? If you really wanted it to shorten, you can cross it like this. Do you see that? Pull this out. And this way it's not a crossbody length, but it becomes a short shoulder chain. Sorry that the flap keeps closing and it's hard to see what I'm doing, but can you see that? You can pull it through like this and do the same with this one. Makes it considerably shorter. You can also, I mean, the configurations are almost limitless with this thing. That's why I think it was well designed with the multiple grommets. But I won't go too far with this because I know some of you will be fine with the standard length. Oh, and I'm having some trouble fidgeting with this. But I really just wanted to show you that it is adjustable because some of you were hesitant about getting this bag because of it. And you can also remove it completely. But then again, if you were to do that, I don't know how you'd use the bag, you know, completely. like that. I did try to put a leather strap through and it wouldn't fit through the grommets. So anyway, just wanted to show you that there are options to adjust it in multiple different ways. Whether you loop it around differently or you cross it diagonally, you can definitely make this longer and shorter. All right, now I'm going to show you what fits inside. I've brought out a bunch of goodies to show you as examples, and I took off the chain completely because I felt like it would be too noisy as I rummaged around in here. So here's what it looks like at the moment, completely empty. Let's start with what I think is the bulkiest item, but I showed this in my recent vacay vlog. I somehow figured out that this Louis Vuitton cosmetic pouch in the PM size fits in here. I don't know why or how. I just thought to do this and I was like, it's not gonna fit, is it? And it fits. It fits with room to spare. So that's another size reference. The cosmetic PM size, I'll show you, with its shape is not that different from the shape of the front here, sort of half moon. So that fits. And then let's go to the large size Continental wallet. That also fits standing up, and let's see if it closes up. Hard to see through the camera. There we go. It does close up, yeah. So it's kind of hitting the top, but if you like to carry a large size Continental wallet, it will fit, and it's got room to spare. And let's start putting some other items in that are not too big. So here's the LV mini pochette. There you go. Here's a more compact size wallet from Saint Laurent. I love this croc embossed look. There you go. Here is the Chanel mini O case. So it stacks pretty neatly. Here I've got my Louis Vuitton key pouch. Wow, look at that. Here I've got a pretty standard size card holder. Now I can put it in there, or I can put it right in there for easier access in that open slip pocket. Then I've got my Kirigami pouch. This is the smallest size I've been using for cards and cash. Put it right on top. This is my phone case. I'm filming with my phone, but this is a max size or plus size phone. There you go. And if you wanted to close these snaps, I think it's going to get a little bit more snug, but let's try it. Okay, so there you go. And then a lipstick. Wow, actually, I've never packed it this much. It fits more than I thought. Oh, wow, when it closes, it's rippling a little bit on the sides because, I mean, I shoved a lot in there. And it's feeling heavy now, but it does fit. Wow. So again, I would just keep these open for easier access. And I can also just plop in my sunglasses in a soft pouch. And I can put my phone right back here. Right? It's going to stretch out the leather a little bit, but this is a very hardy, durable grained leather, so I wouldn't be worried. I also wouldn't be worried if I got this caught in the rain, like light rain, briefly. It feels like it would hold up quite well. So there you have it. Everything that fits inside this Polene No. Un Mini, including these big ones here. All right, so far I have shared with you everything that I could think of about this Polene No. Un Mini bag, but I also want to share with you pros and cons as I see them. So these are my pros and cons. First, let's start with the pros. This undeniably is a very well-made bag. I think that Polene has quickly built up a reputation about their quality and craftsmanship, all being handcrafted in Spain, and then the value that you get, again, for $360, this beautiful full-grained calf leather, and it's a very unique, artistic-looking bag. There's no other design like this on the market, at least that I've seen, and it's been well done, I will say. I also think that it's very durable, the materials that they chose. I'm hoping that it holds up very well in terms of wear and tear. There is no wear and tear as far as I can see it on this bag because I haven't really worn it. I did bring it on a trip to Florida and I wore it a little bit and showed you guys in that video, but I haven't worn it since, and that's what gets me into the cons. So the cons are, this is my con personally, I don't really love chain strap bags. I wanted to try it out because this is such a signature Polene bag. It's their bestseller, but I'm finding that this is just not for me. It's not comfortable. I don't like the cold feel of the chains, and I don't like the comfort or the discomfort on my shoulder. I do like the versatility of being able to adjust the straps, which is why I spent time earlier showing you guys, but this one just isn't for me. Also, the closure is probably one of the bigger cons. I don't know if you noticed in my vacation vlog that time. By the way, I'll link it up above if you missed it because that might be helpful footage. I had a really hard time closing this. It is nearly impossible, at least for me, impossible to close it with one hand. So you really have to use one hand on the bottom, one hand on the top, and then kind of smush it down and match it up. That might not be a big deal for most people, but for me, I'm always on the go. I usually am holding one hand of my kids, and I live in New York. I'm running around the streets, like not really careful that much, and so I want to be able to close it and open it easy. And this opens easily, but it does not close easily, and that's probably going to be the same for the other Polene #1 bags, even in the nano size like I showed you earlier, this one, because it has the same mechanism, but I haven't tried it out yet. I'm just going to assume it's the same. So again, these are things that bother me but may not bother you. And the last thing I want to share with you is this bag is not easy to pick up, meaning if you're just going to grab it from off the table, off your dresser, or even at a restaurant, you're ready to go, you have to grab it like this or like this. It obviously doesn't have a top handle, which is fine. A lot of the bags that I have don't have top handles, but something about the shape and the silhouette of this makes it a little bit more tricky to just grab it. And if you grab it from this, it pulls up unless you really shorten it from the inside and make it a top handle, which I haven't tried. So that's one of the things. And if you grab it like this and it moves, this can start to fall out and kind of, droop out. So that is another con as I see it. But otherwise, if you're into this design and this look, this chalk color in particular, I think is beautiful. I do think it's worth the value that you get out of this bag, but I'm finding that it's just not for me. The other two Polene bags that I was gifted, I am absolutely smitten with. Let me show you really quickly. These here I absolutely adore. So this one is the number 9 or Numero Un Mini size, and it's in the same full-grained calf leather, but this feels a lot smushier and softer because the structure is different. It's in black, and it has this attached beautiful handle, which I thought honestly I was going to get annoyed by, but I find it to be really nice to use. Here's the long strap. I'm not going to do a full review on this because I already did and it was super in-depth, so I'll link it down below in my description box, or you can find it up here. But this one I love. This is the other Polene bag. So these two and then the chalk colored #1 Mini all came in the same delivery, and I guess if I had to say, these two are my favorites. This one is really, it was such a shocker because I thought this was going to be my favorite. They're so different, but I love this bag so much. And this one I love too. It's very structured. This is the Numero Sept #7, and it's the original size, not the smaller mini. So this is the bigger size. Beautiful, shiny hardware. I also did an in-depth review on this as well, so I won't get into it. I'll link that down in my description box as well. Oops. Oh my gosh, and also up here, and this is the smooth leather, so that's why I reacted like that. I don't want it to scratch. It's not going to be as durable as the grained leather, but so far it's holding up really well. So that is it for the Polene Numero Un Mini or #1 Mini bag. Hope you got a good look and you learned something new about the brand and also this style. I do recommend it for those of you who are into this look and this design. Before I close out the video, I will insert some mod shots. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. If you're new to my channel and you enjoy handbag content, please subscribe. I'd love for you to join our community, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.